And we're back. All right, tea break. Uh, let's. Are we jumping back to the Bellwether crematorium there, Judd?
Yeah, I think we're jumping back to this moment where the bell goes off, and it was this moment where everyone had kind of come together, and they were looking at something that made all of their jaws drop. And what it was this little side nook, uh, and Drav knew this was here, right? Because in arranging for this heist, Drav had looked back on the wizard jar job and on the paperwork that was put in for the requisitions, and he could see that it was paid through a bank routing number that doesn't exist. And the only conclusion that made sense was that the spirit wardens had their own bank. And you all are looking at more coin than you can count as you see piles and pallets of imperial stamped gold bars. And it's just more than anyone can carry, right? It's not made to be carried. It's made to be cashed or sent to another bank for coin or something. It's made to move lots of money in industrial ways, not for scoundrels to run off with. And it's just shocking. And that's what you all are looking at as we cut from Inspector Mayatui saying, if I ever come into money, I'll send you some old song. And then we hear ding, and we look at all these scoundrels' masked faces in total shock as they're looking at these pallets of gold.
Yeah, I think there's probably like a moment where Andrell actually just like half removes the mask. His eyes are huge, and he goes like, "Sweet weeping lady." uh, did we have a plan for this, or is this like a?
I don't know. Did you?
I think he very like without blinking, he just turns right around and looks straight at Rosalind and goes, "Can ghosts lift things like crates of giant gold bullion?"
Oh, that's a good question.
How do the spirit wardens have this much money? Like, where does it even come from? There are no mines left for gold. There is more money here than I've seen rich people have.
Quite the sizable fortune.
I mean, yes, but how do we get it out? Because I want to retire.
Hmm. I feel like if you concentrate hard enough, you must be able to like materialize an ectoplasmic essence to, in a sense, carry things out of here.
Can you poltergeist the hole in the wall? Oh, that'll set off every alarm in the book.
Yeah, it would take
I think
a lot
Andrell
of
just.
energy.
I think Andrell just hugs a stack of gold. Like he just want to touch it like that. He's a thief, right? Like this is the dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't leave it all behind. We have to take some with us.
He says while hugging it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question, Jed. What is the discharge like for Bellwether? Like when they incinerate everything, how do they get rid of the remains or whatever. Like, obviously they bottle stuff into like jars, but I assume like their toilets go to the sewers. Like how is
Yeah.
how what is the bellwether like exit stratagem? Because I feel like Drav would have been like, we throw it in the trash. Like, he would have had some sort of plan to get some of the money out. Like, he would have sent these people in and told them where the money was, and then just been like, and the rest is up to you, right? Like, is there a hearse or something that takes like corpses out to be hollowed? Like, I don't know. Like, there's got to be an exit of some sort, right? Like,
I think a lot of the ashes and stuff and bodily remains are kind of dumped into the canal.
all right, how do they get it to the canal? Because I assume they don't do it by an armload, right? Like,
Right.
there's either got to be like some place here where they can just like dump a what are those called? Like wheelbarrows full
wheelbarrow.
of stuff, like bodies, or like, you know, there's like a hearse or a carriage or something that takes the stuff out of the perimeter normally.
Yeah.
Because we have to exit, right? Like, we have to have an exit stratagem, and I assume that if we're taking 20 people with us, like, or however, like, 3 extra people, that's still, like, we probably still need to, like, understand logistics here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably pumped out through pipes, right?
Is there, how much pressure isn't, oh no. Oh no. Oh
What?
no. I think that Drav very calmly, so everyone's like, so how the hell do we get bouillon out? It's not exactly like it can be pumped out through pipes. And Drav just leans in, and there's this flashback where he goes like, no, but what you don't know is that there's a system of pneumatic tubes that is still active in Duskfall.
Oh my god. Amazing.
No.
Yes.
It's always a really good plan when Judd's face goes like, oh my god.
I didn't put the pneumatic tubes in. You put the pneumatic tubes in. I just use whatever you give us, Judd.
I know, man. I know. I'm not upset. I'm gobsmacked.
Yeah. With love from the Dying Emperor.
So, are you gonna send these bars one at a time to your office in the Justice Tower?
That is correct.
Oh my god.
Actually, no. I think what I'm doing is I'm sending them several at a time to the Justice Tower. But the thing is that this is at like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And so Drav has very carefully calculated when there isn't going to be someone on shift. So the person with the Raven mask is going to be in that room.
Right.
Nice.
Like, all of you are here, he is not. So, yeah.
Excellent.
How will you get it? Don't worry about it. Just make sure that this code is punched in. But seriously, how are you gonna? Don't worry about it. That's my job. Your job is to get in, contain the ghosts, and get the cultists out.
And there totally is a pneumatic tube in this warehouse.
There's gotta be, right? Like, how else do they get orders to go and pick up bodies?
Heck yeah.
Like, that is how we ordered the Spirit Wardens. At least we did when we were Bluecoats, so...
Yeah. So... Wow. How many do you get out?
This feels like a fortune roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's Judd, this is you. I got nothing.
I mean, let's just roll one die and see what happens, I guess.
Is it really one die? Or is it perhaps the wealth of the district we're in?
You think?
I mean, I don't know. I would at least roll the tier of someone involved.
Okay.
Whether it's us or the Spirit Wardens for their money or whatever you think is appropriate.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to roll one die, I'm okay with it. Like, obviously, this is your call. I was just.
No. I'm just trying to.
We latch on to something that seems to represent the scenario. If it is this much money, that's not important. The question is, how much can we get out? So the question is, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you give us dice based on. Like, do you feel like things have gone, like we've taken a while to do the things that we need to do and we're short on time, so maybe it's fewer dice? Or do you think that it's, this is well planned and we get more dice? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's 2 dice.
Okay.
And then there's a certain amount it'll be. Let me write down how much it'll be.
I just have this internal glee. Like those stats for districts don't get used like ever. So whenever I get a chance to use one, I like pounce on it like some sort of rabid jaguar. I'm like, yeah! What tier are the tubes? Thank you, FF.
Hold on. I just want to look at how much coin I think you're going to end up getting. So give me 1 second.
We can also delay this, Judd. So you can say like, okay, this is an X coin job, and then we're going to roll a die and see like 1 to 3 extra that you get or something.
You got 5. And like, we'll figure out how much coin that is at the end.
Cool. Excellent.
And I think it's this very familiar noise to the game, right? It's this noise we've been hearing for 14 episodes. This that represents paperwork and now represents literally moving their own money behind their back so it can be stolen, which is delicious. And and I think the muscle in the Kraken mask says, I think we've pushed our luck as far as we're going to push it. We should get out of here.
I think Andrel actually like kisses the tips of his gloved hand and touches it to the gold and says, "Someday I will come for the rest of you."
Rosit has to make another quiz about making out with gold.
I mean, he's a thief. If you don't feel the greed, you're not a good one. Okay, yeah, I'm good. I feel like this is fine. Maybe we don't push our luck anymore. Andrel probably wants to, but he's also used to working in a gang where his boss takes no nonsense. When the boss says, "Time's up, we go," he's learned that it's time to go. So he just...
I mean, this guy just is losing his nerve, but he doesn't even want to go get the cultists. He just wants to get the hell out of here.
So I think that's one of the things. I think this is where I play another card, Judd. I think this is where we realize that the person under the Kraken mask is actually what's the name of the silver nail lady?
Suresh?
Suresh? Yeah.
And I think that we see Drav going like, "You owe me your life, Suresh. What is the Severosi life debt worth?"
Dang.
I'm calling in the marker.
Let's go get your friends.
Drav's a jerk when he's in charge of gangs.
This is wild. I love it.
Cool. Yeah, the cult, the cult quarantine.
Are there any guards? Like, do we have to go through?
Yeah, I think there is. I think it's one of those. You see that there's like a spirit warden behind state of the art glass in like a corner, controlling like one of those prison corner cages, so that like in order to go in, one opens and then it closes, and then someone has to push the other one for the other one to open. Like you have to be locked in for a second in order for it to work.
I don't think so. I think I'm gonna push, and this is where I'm just like, my turn, and I reach over and I just turn the dial on my chest, and like all the etheric circuitry floods with that like Leviathan oil, and I just blur and step right through the bars and just hit the second button.
Cool.
Are there Judd? Let me know if there are people in the other room.
Yeah. I mean, there was a guard in the other room.
Oh,
so
awesome! Yeah, I just shoot him. Like, yeah, I don't think that there's a hesitation. I think that this is just like one of those, like, I come out of the ghost field, I'm just like, wham! Like the same way that I was supposed to, but failed to in the previous episode against Suresh, who I do not know is actually under the Kraken mask. Nor does she know that I'm under the mouse mask, although she might suspect right now. This could get very ugly.
Yeah. I think we definitely see Suresh. We see like the Kraken mask go.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe this is a risky roll, and this is one of the consequences. How do you feel, Judd?
Risky standard.
All right, awesome. Let's do it. I am not Nogs. I am not Maya Tui. I am currently Andrel. Let's do this. Oh, holy shit! I miss having skirmish. Oh, thank you. Here we go. So
can I throw you an 8? Can I?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna make the argument that this is a prowl roll, Jed. What do you think?
Yeah.
Maya, go ahead.
Rosalind,
go ahead.
I can probably check my helping die if you're materializing through the ghost field, right? Because I can sort of try and hold it for you.
Hell yeah. I mean, this is horrifying. All right, yeah, I'm obviously pushing myself. That triggers my ability, Ghost Veil, and Devil's Footsteps. I'll roll some dice here. Here we go. So risky, standard, +1 die from my push, +1 die from the assist. That's 2. Oh, yes, 3 6s.
Oh, dang.
Let's do this.
It's a Satan's game.
But wow.
Yeah, he never even sees you. And I think it's not supposed to work this way, but you jam both doors open. And that's not supposed to be engineeringly possible, but you do it.
It could even be the assist actually coming through, because one of the things that Attune natively allows you to do is to manipulate circuitry. You can manipulate the electricity in circuits because they're electroplasmically generated. So it could even be that I just we're like, all right, as per the plan, and then I do the 3, 2, 1, and I crank up the thing on my chest, I phase into the ghost field, I phase out of the ghost field, I do the thing with the weird gun with the pneumatics in it, and I look over and I hit the buttons, and then as it comes out, Rosalind locks them in place.
Yeah, we see her doing their whole their lace kind of freezing stuff.
Yep, and I think the shot is so perfect that you start to take it as you're coming in the ghost field, so it doesn't go through the helmet. It comes in through the when it's in his skull, and then bounces around the helmet.
Oh, that's horrifying!
Dang, it's amazing.
And so you see the head kind of jerk around, and then the spirit warden falls.
And I think Andrel goes, "Oh, that's how it's supposed to work." And he opens it, he gives a thumbs up, and the camera's real close to him and just hears the don't vomit, don't vomit, don't vomit.
Yeah, and everyone else goes through, and the Kraken goes through, so just not taking her eyes off of Andrej, nodding good job, but
Mouse
we
mask.
know. Yeah.
Completely shielding expression.
Yeah. That's a pretty amazing suit, the Kraken says to Rosalind. Where did he get that kind of gear?
I think Rosalind shrugs and says, well, there has to be... I could perhaps get you in touch with the tailor.
Really? You know who makes that stuff?
I have my ways.
I bet you do.
Perhaps you and I should talk later.
Sure. That'd be great.
Excellent.
And you're in the cult quarantine. I think they're all in isolation. there are two doors. One is into an observation room where you can look through into them, and the other is the doorway into the cells themselves. And yeah. And I
Excellent.
think all of the cults, they're not named, but they're numbered, right? Illegal cult number 1044.7.
Wow.
Mm.
And it's just like a hallway, a soundproof hallway, so you can't even hear people screaming.
Oh my god, it's awesome and horrifying.
Exactly what they would have too.
Do we just short circuit everything and let everyone out, or like, what are we doing here, Andrel?
That, if we do that, yeah, that would certainly cover our escape. That's a great idea, actually. That will cause enough of a fuss that it'll be chalked up to the squid cult being able to escape from anywhere, and not to Quicksilver keys, which is what they should be looking at. And if some gold bars disappeared while they were at it, just more to the mystery. So, yeah, I think you if you give the sign, Andrel's flipping switches.
Oh heck yeah, that's rad. I can toss you another assist die with a tune if you would like.
I don't think there's a roll to like turn off to open doors, Judd. Is there?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Oh cool, yeah. We'll open all the
I
doors.
just thought that there might be a roll to convince the cultists to come with us for the time being.
Yes. That sounds like a roll.
I mean, let's not do a roll. Let's talk to them and see what you say. I mean, let's. So I think people start walking out of their cells and looking around, and then like you see people from across the hall see each other. They haven't seen another human in ages, and they start like there's a lot of like crying and hugging, and this has got to be a trick. Like some people are like at the edge of the door and refuse to leave because they're sure it's a spirit warden trick.
Oh,
this is all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see people with like the tentacles going kind of up their necks and out over their wrists. And there's about 4 of them. And they start getting together, and like they've only been in for a couple of days, right? Or a couple of weeks. So like they're not in as bad shape as some of these people who have been here for years. And they start coming together and talking quietly.
I think it's totally that thing of like we see a unnamed cultist like sort of walk past the screen, and Rosalind's just like there, and it's looks at them and
the wipe edit, yeah,
and it's like, you must come with us. We're here to escort you.
Nice mask. What's
Thank you.
going on?
I said we're here to escort you off the premises.
We're impossible to cage. The eight-legged god sent us a way out. It's a hole. We should squeeze through it. All right, let's go.
I think Rosalind nods to her crew and gestures to at least follow them for a time and keep an eye on them. Starch is smiling.
Starch is smiling.
So is Andrel like in the control room?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think actually he's putting something down and like twisting a top as if he's like setting a timer.
Nice.
And actually we like flash back and we see him like rolling a couple of these into the room with the gold bullion and so on and so forth. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm sure that there is some appropriate thing. Like, we've been extremely careful, right? Like, only use masks, never use, like, real names. Like, you know, all the usual, like, nonsense. But I'm sure that we would like to add another layer of funk for all of the ether reading investigators to try and sort out exactly what happened here. And I think, like, Andrella's handing out a couple of glasses of party favors to a bunch of the, like, escapees, like, throw this somewhere fun! Like, have a great day! Like, enjoy escape time! Like...
Yeah, and I think, like, you have a moment alone with the Kraken mask and says, we almost set here? And she says, we almost set here?
I like, Andrella's just like, good to go.
Cool. Hey, that suit was a nice trick.
Andrella turns around and goes, yes it was, Kraken, that's why I'm hired. Why were you hired?
And I think she closes the door and says, Andrell, right? From the race?
Mouse, don't use goddamn names. He actually gets real quiet. And he says, Mouse, don't use goddamn names. It's one of the rules of the job. Are you fucking professional or not?
Oh, I'm a professional, but you tried to shoot me. And she pulls her gun out and points it at you.
Is this really the place? Is this really the time?
I think we can get out the rest of the way without you. I think we'll be fine.
Oh my god.
I think this is the perfect place. And she knocks on the glass. Soundproof. It's a shame. I guess that spirit warden had a little bit left in him, and he got a shot off. Do you have any last words, Andrell?
Yep.
Yeah. Make a roll.
Awesome.
Like
yes. Yes. Is this desperate?
Oh my
Tell me
god.
it's desperate.
Yeah. Desperate
Oh my
standard.
god.
Desperate standard.
I am pushing myself. I will adjust the stress in 1 second here. Boom. Oh yeah, I do it, but it costs. I get absolutely nothing.
You do it, but the bullet
Damages the suit?
it damages the suit.
I think I also probably take some harm. I mean, I'm fighting a pretty tough opponent here.
Yeah. I mean, I think you take a bullet wound and the suit is damaged. I think it's a level 3 bullet wound and the suit is damaged.
Awesome. That sounds good. Amazing how well this goes. So, Rosalind, you're ready to take the cult out because I do not know if the two of us are going to make it. I can't walk without help and I have no idea what condition she's in.
Dang. Okay.
This just went
Does
all sorts of sideways. Woo!
Does Rosalind see any of this exchange? Like, does she see the soundless?
There's probably no sound, but I'm sure that there's like flashes of lights as bullets are flying inside the.
But we had the flash cut where Rosalind was going to talk to the cult. So Rosalind is like down a hall with behind a closed door. Yeah.
Oh, it's the kind of thing where it's like we had a like if 5 minutes passes, like take him out, like don't wait for us, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Suresh comes running down the hall and says, "Mouse took off. I think we're on our own."
I think like Rosalind like nods and sort of like gestures for like Suresh to follow suit, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's like she's chasing this cult like up the passageway.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm sorry. I'm about to be really mean.
What?
Do it.
I think there's probably just like a moment where like there's just like the still shot of the room and there's still like smoke curling in the air and everything, and you see like the bloody hand like land on the thing, and like Mass drags himself up and he goes, "I'm not done yet," and he just smashes his hand on the raise the alarm button.
Oh my god.
Holy cow.
Oh my god. Oh
So
my
he went.
god.
So he didn't like fade into the ghost field and then go. He was actually in
He
the.
tried, but the suit's damaged. He can't.
Oh wow.
No resistance to that consequence. I don't have the stress for it. I think he's
Yeah.
just like,
Dang.
So yeah, you're all running through the halls, and klaxons start sounding, and the bells start ringing, and spirit wardens are coming. Rosalind, everybody kind of looks to you.
Yep.
I think like yeah, I think like Rosalind. So we have a way out, right? Like that we have a way out for sure.
Yep.
We just need to like sort of execute a clear escape, like without getting anyone hurt anymore.
Well, you had a way out. I have no idea what the timetable and or problems involved are now. It was 100%. Like, yes, there will be noise. People will show up. They'll try and ascertain what the situation is. In the meantime, you will do X, Y, and Z, and I'm sure Drav will be there with a goat-drawn cart. I don't know what the situation is like now.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're in the middle of these access tunnels in the middle of the crematorium, and alarms are sounding, and that was not a part of any plan that you remember.
Okay. Well, if we have like the map out, so to speak, I think the plan is to follow that, and then Rosalind will take up the rear. And if anyone follows him, she's just gonna channel the red lady and like shoot like red death ectoplasm behind her at anyone following.
Like you did.
Awesome. As you do. That sounds totally awesome. I mean, I think you do hear spirit wardens coming up the hall, like coming up behind you.
Excellent. Yeah, then I definitely want to like, yeah, I think Rosalind like puts a hand to the jar and like her eyes glow red, right? With the same red that was in the room prior. Because I think like it makes sense to likewise get a lot of familiar ectoplasm around this place anyway. So it looks like it was a job that people could do from the inside out.
Right.
And yeah, she'll just like sort of like fling like sort of air blade, like red air blades, sort of sickle shaped, like through the air at the wardens as they're coming.
Awesome.
Shall I roll for that?
Yes.
Excellent. This feels like an attuned to me. What is my position and effect?
Man, I feel like throwing a ghost at the spirit wardens in the crematorium. I'm gonna say it's desperate great.
Oh,
awesome.
Okay, I was expecting desperate limited, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially one that they're scared of.
Yeah.
They were pretty scared of the red lady.
Yep.
I will push myself for a die. Oh, I got the 6.
Oof. Yeah, you shove the red lady, and there's this, and like for a little bit while she's in your kind of radius, everything is red, and then it kind of fades as she, runs into this squad, and you hear like ghost hooks clanging against the walls as she starts throwing people around, and I'm assuming you're not waiting to see like what happens.
Oh no, yeah, we're just booking it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do we want to make some kind of a group roll to get the hell out of there? Like what
totally.
Are we thinking? Or you know what? Let's I'm gonna start 2 clocks. I'm gonna start a 4-point clock that is cornered by the spirit wardens. And then I'm going to start a 6-point clock Escape crematorium. What are you doing to get out of there, folks? Rosalind?
Good question. Because we have like the spirit wardens that have at our back a little bit delayed dealing with the red lady, as we can get a little bit of a head start on them. That is a good question.
Is it just like a group, a group prowl?
It could be a group prowl. Yeah, I was thinking if there's like mechanical doors or like locks or that kind of thing, just like fucking them up.
Who's amazing in all of this? The guy bleeding back there. Oh god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think if we're all doing it together, it sounds like a prowl roll. Because I was like, well, yeah, I could see Rosalind screwing up circuitry and locking doors behind them and messing up with like panels and that kind of thing to cause more disruption. But it might be a prowl roll.
Could that be kind of like a supporting role for the prowl roll? Is that?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
Setup.
sort of do a setup. Yeah, I think Rosalind will do a setup where she sort of, as they're running away, sort of has her hands on either side of like the walls or is tapping and sort of slaps a hand against like a locker door or that kind of thing as we go past it to short out the circuitry and close things behind us and stuff.
Cool.
Poltergeist to the doors and things like that.
Electroplasmic charges and all that. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. What is the position and effect?
Risky standard.
Okay.
For that roll.
Ooh, I got a 3.
Okay. Well, it was a setup, right?
Yes, yeah.
How do they work?
Setups are exactly the same as all other rolls. They just give benefits to future rolls. So if this setup fails, it may not be able to be done again, and it'll still put ticks on the clock because the consequences are real.
Got it. Cool. So I'm going to put 2 clocks on the cornered by spirit wardens.
Oh god.
And I think it's a simple fact of their security systems are better insulated against this kind of thing than you think. Like any other doors in Duskfall, and this would have worked, but like they're used to it. Like these are electroplasmic engineers who are just as good as you.
Dang, makes sense. In that case, yeah, it sounds like we have to just prowl it up.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. And it's a group action. Who else is anyone else rolling? Because Andrel is.
Technically, you would roll the like the appropriate skill. What you think is an appropriate skill for what's her face?
Oh, for Suresh.
You roll for the gang, and usually you roll the gang's tier. So I don't know what Silvernail's tier is.
I think it's 3, right?
So Suresh would also roll.
Am I rolling? Am I rolling her tier or?
Traditionally, that's if she is doing so. The way that gangs are handled in Blades in the Dark is when you have a cohort, which is what Suresh is here. If they are acting within their skill set, they get as many dice as you have tier. And if they are not acting inside their skill set, they get 0 dice, period.
Got it. This is within her skill set. Cool. She got a 6.
Oh, cool. Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm
Yep.
Sure.
No, that sounds good. And then I'm also going to roll for the cult.
Cool.
Oh, this is definitely in their skill set.
This is. I actually gave them a bonus die because
That's
this
what
is
they're
so
known
within.
for.
That's what they're known for.
And Ralston got a 5.
So
Cool.
you don't take stress for that, which is good.
Excellent.
Now, Judd,
Yeah.
you let me know when Endrel can have 5 minutes.
Cool.
Carry on.
Yeah. Give me a moment.
Please finish this. Just let me know.
Yeah. But I think it's only like 2 ticks, right, on the 6-point clock to get out of here. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you're making it through, and you can hear spirit wardens kind of yelling through the halls to one another as cultists are rounded up, but they haven't cornered you guys yet. And someone back there is still dealing with the red lady.
Actually, can I do my thing now?
Yeah.
All right. So this is what I want to do. I want to see if I can make I will explain to you how we get to this in a second, but I want to have them like get into a place and there be a door and the door opens and there's Andrel bleeding, like holding one side right next to it, and then he falls over. But I will tell you how I get there and attempt to get the points on the clock. You ready, Jed?
Okay.
I think if we flash back, we see Andrel bleeding in that room, right? And like after he like hits the alarm and everything starts going shenanigans, he pulls out so the thing is, I am out of supplies. I can't just take a demolition kit. I have no more load. But I think he pulls out something very simple like a lantern, right? And he's going to attempt to like fuse his wounds shut for like 5 friggin' minutes, which is mimicked in the rules by you can push to ignore wound penalties, which is what I'm going to be doing.
Sounds good.
And then I would like to make a prowl roll to get us the hell out by climbing through the vents faster, like in a side route. But after I do that, I will point out that enteral traumas. So I'm not going to be able to do shit after this. I'm just dropping this right on your lap here, Rosalind. You can deal with cracking yourself. So I'm going to push. I'm going to clear my stress. I'm going to take my trauma. I'll figure out my trauma later, and I'm just going to roll my prowl. Which I cannot roll at any pluses. So, Judd, tell me what my position is.
Prowl. Jeez. Desperate standard.
Excellent. I will do that. Let's do that. Desperate standard. No bonus dice. That's a 6. Awesome.
That's 2.
Yep.
Yeah, you crawl through the vents, bleeding the whole way, and
No. I am cauterized.
Oh, you cauterized.
I am cauterized. No bleeding until I get out.
Yeah, you crawl through, muttering about people being a professional, and yeah, they all get to a door and. The door opens and it's Andrage, and he falls over from a gut wound. The Kraken says, "I can't believe he made it."
I say nothing in my defense because I am unconscious.
and she says, "I got him," and she wraps like an arm around her neck.
Amazing.
I think there is a drop with the cart with the blanket over a whole pile of gold, and he looks at everyone and just goes, "Everything goes smooth." As there are alarms and like smoke belching out of the crematorium.
Ghostly wails.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you all climb in the cart, but they're still after you. Spirit wardens are hitting the street, and they're actually using Deathseeker crows to like call out when they see someone out at this time of night. It's getting weird. Like the whole place is klaxoning. and you all aren't in the clear yet, according to my clocks. So what are you doing to get the hell out of here?
Do we see Rosalind doing similar magic to our doctor? What's his face? Voren by
Dear Connell.
like sort of by sort of casting a veil over this cut to scratch us out of existence for a short period of time.
Oh, nice. Go for it.
Like we see a crow and it's like ka ka and like ka and it's just someone like on the street like trying to hurry home, and meanwhile like we're sitting under it with a cart and it just can't see us. Is that?
Yes. Yeah, that's totally it. Yeah. You might get some like weird sort of like haze in the air, like when it gets really hot and stuff. But otherwise,
That's awesome.
You're totally
That's awesome.
invisible to the crow.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. What's my position and effect?
Risky standard.
Okay. Oops. Risky standard. I will push myself one more time. I got the 6.
Nice.
Pulling it off like a pro.
And you get out of Charter Hall, which is where the crematorium is, and cross over into Crow's Foot, and things get really quiet, and the klaxons are kind of distant, and you all start looking around, and you realize you made it. And I think there was like a street that Drav had set up where you'd all kind of go your separate ways, and the goat cart stops.
Actually, the goat cart probably pulls into something, and we like make the dilapidated building look dilapidated, but like dropping the hay off the roof or whatever.
Yeah.
Drav. Actually, you know what? I think you take the cart all the way to Dunslow, and it's like the old barn that was the original HQ for the Grinning Ravens, and
so
it's still abandoned.
So now, Jen, I'm gonna make problems for you again. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I think there's a moment where Drav has all the gold laid out, and it's divided up into parts, into shares, right? And they're pretty clearly even shares. And just as like everyone is just getting ready to pick up their shares and go home, and everything is gonna be kosher, I think like Andrel puts one bloody hand on top of Suresh's like bar, and just gives her the look like I deserve one of yours for this. What do you want to do?
Kid, you took a shot at me. I took a shot at you. We're even now. Get your fucking hand off my gold before I put you in the fucking ground. I will feed you to eels before I blink.
How greedy am I? Actually, I think Drav settles this. I think Drav gives the kid an extra bar and tells him to get going. And Andrel's last words are, not professional. Just...
nice.
Drav will have words with Suresh, though.
So it's a lot of coin. I think each person is walking away with 20 coin.
Wow, that's more than I was expecting. I was expecting 10 is the cap, actually.
Oh, 10 is the cap. I thought 10. Well, it said 10. It said cool. So 10 each person, but
that's a lot.
But still, that's a huge haul. It's a huge
massive.
Haul.
You can buy a Leviathan ship with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Let's do 10.
I think Drav also has a small pile for the squids, and he just casually puts one hand on it and he says, "This is yours, but I expect some questions answered before you earn it."
Nice.
And I think I'm okay with cutting there. I think Drav is just going to ask him some questions about, like, who is the Scratchy Man, and how the fuck do you get out of fucking places so fucking good, and...
Cool.
You know.
Cool. We cut back to Maya. Maya and Nox. now that the bellwether job is over. And do you want to call that like the end of legwork, and tracking down Dr. Tyrconnell will be the next step, or do you want to go after Tyrconnell tonight?
Good question. Because I guess what we have on Dr. Tyrconnell is just like a name. Like we don't know much else about him, right? Other than that he stands in as a leech, or that he pretends to be that to get into places.
Right.
Yeah. I guess like in the meantime, I would have been pulling up like old police records to see if like he ever got pulled in or that kind of thing.
His record is startlingly clean. He has a military history. He was a medic with the Imperial Army, and he came back after the Unity War, serving with distinguished service, and put out his shingle as a leech 20 years ago.
Rad. Otherwise hasn't formed with any gangs or anything like that. Just very like
nothing.
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember there being anything about him being immortal. Like, is there something that I'm forgetting?
As a matter of fact, we expected that some of the earlier murders that ended up being pinned on, I forget the nickname of the guy in Bellwether, or not in Bellwether, in Ironhook, the serial killer, were from an earlier person, and we're pretty sure that this guy doesn't look like Trick, does he?
No.
Okay, so like, we expected that Trick's earlier murders were spirit severing, whatever we call it, like super murders, obliterations, and we expected that there was a new person pulling the same trick. So it wasn't an immortal. We expected that there was either a copycat or somebody who was like mimicking their power. And we were like, "Hey, Trick, how'd you do it?" And Trick was like, "Learn about the spirit wardens." And I was like, "Well, okay." So I think that's probably something that's going to come out of the
heist.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Cool. Yeah. So what do you guys want to stop for tonight, and then we'll reconvene with a more normal thing, or do you want to go jump on this with Nogs right now?
How are you feeling, Strash?
I'm okay either way. Nogs is a blast. So my goofy little 0 XP Bluecoat is amazing. It's up to you. I'm good either way.
Yeah, we could. It might be fun to run into him twice. Like, I don't know if we'll like nail him this time around, but I don't know. Yeah, that could be. I missed. I think Nogs needs some more screen time.
Yeah. Me too. He's not far from the Justice Tower.
Wow.
His office is like 3 blocks away, and I think like when you pull that up, how can you not?
Yes, yeah.
And and I think he's got like a barber pole, and then like attached to that is like a surgical knife that lets people know that like, hey, an actual doctor is here.
Red. So I heard Baba's pole, and all I could think of was Maya looking at Nogs and being like, "Do you need a shave?" Or like, you look like you could use a shave.
I think Nox looks at you and says, "Mom, do you think it's the best idea to have a sharp implement on my throat? Is that also part of your investigation?"
You're right. I would feel terrible if something were to happen to you. We're annoyingly fond of you.
Thank you, Mom. Nox is like, I might survive my first day.
And we get like Maya's like sort of swirls her coat and like sort of takes off like towards the I guess like steps through the cling like door into the doctor's like establishment.
Yeah. And I think he's like sitting in the barber's chair reading a paper. And he folds it and says, "How do you do? How can I help you?"
Has he aged any?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
his
it's clearly
beard
the
has
same
gotten.
person.
Yep. Yep.
Ah, dang. Sorry, I can't keep going back to like dogs being at the Baba's chair. I need to like get that out of my brain.
Nox being what?
Oh, in the Baba's chair, like while we talk to the doctor. I would feel too mean.
I just feel
forcing
like
that upon
Nox
someone.
steps in and you step in, and there's like a panning camera shot that goes across like these bottles of antiseptic with combs and stuff in them, and also jars of leeches. And whenever it passes through something that has like an alchemical concoction in it, we see those ethereal flames still around Nox's hand, much akin to the ones that you had.
Right. Totally. And I think, yeah, we can make some observation rolls whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, that's sort of my big way to start it. I realized going in here, I was like, dang, I hope we don't spook him, and he just runs away and leaves. Yeah, I'll do an observe roll as we sort of like step into the thing that makes sense.
Yeah. Controlled standard.
Cool. I think I.
Did you tell Nox whether or not we should flash the Imperial Mandate?
Oh, Maya probably didn't like because I think she's still so used to working with Drav and like Drav just getting it that she just forgets to convey information to Nox.
Did you tell him if we're supposed to play it cool or not? Like, are we supposed to be subtle here? Are we asking questions? Or are we like kicking down doors and being like, you know, go Rage PD? Like what's the Silcher PD
like,
in my case?
Yeah, I think Maya would have like put a hand on his shoulder, like maybe she like goes to put the Kotar hand on and thinks better of it and puts her other hand on his shoulder and is like the most important thing is we don't spook him or give him any reason to run or erase himself further from history than he already has.
Nox nods as if he has any idea how that works.
I think like Maya even asks him like, have you ever taken down a suspect before? Like,
oh yeah, there was a man with manacles that got in a fight and just he nods as if he did anything.
I think Maya's like nods and is like, good, because if he runs, we're going to need to take him down.
Hilariously, I think that's my good stat.
Excellent.
I think. Oh wait, not Andrel. Hang on. I've got too many sheets up. Yep, I've got some pursue. I'm confident. Let's do it.
Excellent. Yes, I'll do my observe roll. I got a 5 in there.
Cool. So that means you hesitated. Yeah, you walk in and you're kind of I think you're too wound up. And you just don't, nothing comes to you. Like you can feel the urge to burn this place to the ground with him in it.
Heck yeah. Yes.
And I think he like looks at you and looks at Nogs and says, how can I help you this evening? Haircut, shave? Is there a bone broken?
And I think like Maya won't put Nogs under the knife, but she takes her hat off and is like, yes, I think I could use a trim. And I think she has that sort of wild, like, hasn't really like brushed her hair much. It is quite like untamed and unkempt.
Would you like Would you like me to wash it before we start?
Oh,
Jen, what does this look like to Nogs? Because Nogs has never seen A, Maya without a hat, and B, I think she's been in canal water since the last time. Like, she's taking that thing off, so, like, what does this whole situation look like? Like, this guy is totally chill and blasé, but, like, what would a normal hairdresser do in this situation? Like, would he just be like, whoa! Have you ever taken a bath? Like, what's the...
Yeah, he might, but he might just be being really polite.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Would you like me to? Oh, please. He like there's another seat that is like near a sink, and he turns the water on, and you can hear the heater in the building kick in, and it starts to run warm. And he goes, "Check the temperature, but that should be really lovely. Have a seat."
I think she sits down and she's like, I think she sighs and is like, I know I look a mess, but I work a very hectic job and I never get the opportunity to come in and get my hair seen to.
Of course. I see that you're here with a blue coat, and well, I could draw the conclusion that you're an investigator.
Oh, yes. You are quite observant.
Sounds a lot like the guy from Iron Hook.
That could just be me. That could just be me fucking up. That could totally be me being messed up. He says, here. And he takes out this kind of heated towel and he folds it in this particular way and like puts it over your face and your eyes. And it just smells like lovely spices. And he washes your hair.
I think Maya inquires, like, as he does, so like, of course, I would assume you see lots of us folk around here, Bluecoats and inspectors alike, given your proximity to the establishment of the Justice Tower.
I guess you all have your own doctor because I haven't seen that many.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Going to a barber is actually a very Akarosi thing. The Severosi don't do it. The Eruvians find it very rude for a stranger to be touching their hair. I don't know about the strangers. There we go. Why don't we? He kind of sits you up, takes the towel off, and says, "Let's go to the chair. We'll get you started." He puts a towel over it, puts like a smock over you.
Maya like Bagsman sits down and like looks into the mirror, like, and we sort of get that very at the same angle that she saw his eyes in the windows, like in the burning embers, right?
Right.
And she says, wouldn't you tell me a bit about yourself? I find the experience a lot more enjoyable when one knows their barber or their doctor.
Well, my name is Dr. Voren Tyrconnell. I was a master sergeant in the Army where I was a medic. And I served in the first few decades of the Unity War and left before the job was finished. I just didn't have a stomach for it anymore. And I came back here, and this is how I give back.
Oh, I see. And surely you must have things you like to do in your spare time. I can't imagine cutting hair or doctoring as much of a hobby, more as a profession.
I enjoy philanthropy.
Oh, how lovely.
I think Noggs folds whatever newspaper or ink rake sheet he's been reading in a seat and looks at him and says, "Philanthropy, do you come from a wealthy family?" And he looks at the office and everything.
I have nothing to dedicate but my time and my skills.
Also, barbering, is that like a family trade?
No, but many people in Duskval associate it with the local doctor. So I took it up. And I like it. I get to learn about people and talk to them and hear their stories. I didn't think I would like it, but I do. It's better than when people come in screaming because a bone is sticking out of their arm. Put your head forward, Mom.
Of course, like my tilts her head forward. I imagine you must get all sorts of clientele in there then, by the sounds of things, like all weird and wonderful types.
Takes all kinds. Everyone needs bones set. Everyone gets sick. Everyone's hair grows. The hair even grows on the dead for a while afterwards. But I guess the spirit wardens have their own barber and bellwether for that.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. The more you learn, the more you know.
Hair and fingernails.
Indeed. Oh God.
So the observe roll that didn't work, you can also take a different tack if you want to take some other avenue of approach to try to learn something and try to see what is here and come away with some kind of a clue.
I don't know what your exploit is like. I have none. You could try and get him to spell something.
Yeah, I was trying to angle into that. My exploit, I've a 1 in exploit and a 2 in relate.
I mean, you are relating.
Yeah, I was saying maybe this is like a sort of a relate of like, and I think like maybe this is where Nogs gets a bit of like Maya's past life, where she used to ferry people like between the sort of Deathlands and Duskfall, and things got ugly, and like it and tries to like play up the stressfulness of it, even though like she does it all the time. Mm-hmm. What's my position and effect?
Risky great.
I'm gonna toss you an assist die. I think Nox just periodically chimes in with sort of like slightly offbeat questions, not because he's trying to do like a cool drop move, but because he's kind of clueless and sort of stumbling about. But it might be enough to like shift the tones and the beats and keep our barber surgeon like off kilter, like not really clear on like what he should be focusing on. Does that sound fair, Judd?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great.
I like it.
I'm a Marcus Stress.
Boop. Oh, that's a 6.
Nice. So what did you want? You wanted him to slip? You wanted to notice something?
Yeah, I was trying to think like, because I mean, I guess like he's working with the cult. They're involved in like the Undying Emperor's thing. Like perhaps there's something. Perhaps like he gets a bit political or something. I don't know. Like yeah, I guess I'm trying to look. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think, Josh?
Noticing something, getting a clue, getting anything is great because we have had nothing for this whole time.
Yeah.
So anything you get is gold.
That's what I was like. Yeah, sorry.
I think he says like, so as an inspector, you work on Imperial mandates, right?
Yes, we do.
Nice. So you're actually doing the Undying Emperor's work.
Yes, I do believe you could describe it as such.
That's amazing. Just amazing.
Is it? It looks like a piece of paper with a seal on it.
No, it's much more than that. It's much, much more than that. It's, I don't know. It's almost a divine calling, I think.
Indeed, have you ever met...
Hang on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got this.
Yeah,
You're a religious man, Mr. I don't know if you don't know this yet, but Nox's vice is faith. I think he says, you're a religious man, Doctor?
There are parts of the sense of community that you get from religious observance and a sense of ritual and time passing that I do find pleasing, but I'm not sure if I'm a man of faith. But I do think the world is better with the Undying Emperor than it is without it. And I do attend church, but I'm not sure I've ever felt it or felt a calling. He sits down and he says, and the hair is done and it's a great haircut. And he sits down across from you and he says, Inspector, do you want to tell me why you're really here?
And I think she like spins around in the chair to like face him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out how to frame this question or frame this response. Well, I guess like, does he sort of tattoo on him or like sort of little bits of tentacle like sticking out from somewhere or something? Anything?
Nothing. No.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
remember that the cult of the like cult, the squid people, they only worked with the Scratchy Man. It's pretty clear that the Scratchy Man was not a member of
Oh,
their number.
that's right. That's right. Hmm. I think she smiles at him and just says like, "Well, you saw the state I was in when I came here. I was in need of a haircut."
Okay.
God, this is so tense. It's like it's just a mundane conversation, but I'm like, oh my god.
Is your hand okay? It looks a little swollen. Do you want me to take a look at what's under the glove?
And I think like by his gloved hand, like twitches a bit in response, and she puts her like other hand over top of it and says, "Oh, I don't think there's anything you could do. This is rather an old wound now.
Okay. Okay.
Scars are
I didn't mean to overstep my bounds. My apologies.
perfectly fine." Um, oh. I think she does the thing of like she says, well, now you mention it. Um, there is perhaps one matter I was hoping to ask you about. It seemed pure coincidence that when I looked at the ledger and looked at where you worked, where your establishment, the two were connected. But we were looking into the old paper mill fires, cold case, never got solved. And your name popped up as someone present on that day of the fire.
Mm-hmm. I was looking into an industrial accident. The warehouse owner, the mill owner, called me to look into the well-being of his workers.
Indeed, someone had a hand injury that you saw to as their substitute leech.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you witnessed that day? Anything that you could perhaps recall that might help us find out who started the blaze?
May I see your mandate, please?
Why would you want to see the mandate?
The direction of the mandate will dictate in how much detail I am able to reply to you.
I see. And then for clarity, so the mandate, it just has it. What's on the what's on the mandate? Like what information will I be revealing to him if I show it?
If you show him not just the badge but the full written mandate, it has everything.
Including that there's an assassination of the Undying Emperor happening.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that is hilarious is Drav, if he was here, would have a very different reaction. Nox is just like, that sounds reasonable. Like, I don't know. You want to see my badge? Okay, it's my Bluecoat badge. Woo. Actually, I think that's maybe the moment where Nox says, Nox takes out his Bluecoat badge and sets it down. And he says, is this good enough for you, or do we need to go fetch paperwork?
He takes the badge and like holds it up like it's like a worthless trinket and puts it back down and says, that will not be enough.
I think Maya smiles and says, like, well, as much as I would love to divulge particular details about the mandate,
Hold on. I think Nugs bristles. I think
Red.
Drop would totally understand exactly everything that's going on here, but Nugs doesn't, and somebody just dissed the Bluecoats.
Yes, go
Nugs
it.
is much more traditional in terms of blue coating. Drop is just like, oh yes, they cleared the street, I get it. They used to work, you have some high-level clearance issues, were you an Imperial assassin? Nugs totally is just like, I'm sorry, did you just tell a Bluecoat that you can't tell him the questions that he is asking?
Yes.
He, like, actually pulls himself up and, like, tightens his coat, and he says, under what authority, you asshole?
Red.
There's my badge. Where's yours? He puts his hand on his nightstick, completely unaware of the fact that this dude can murder him.
Yeah. He looks at Maya Tui, like, the man looks at Maya Tui like, are you going to step in, or what's going to happen? Like, he looks to you for guidance. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm very sorry. I'm sure you have a very difficult and demanding job that takes a lot of time and energy. I did not mean to challenge your authority.
Nogs looks at Maya like, am I going to beat the shit out of this guy until he gives us answers? Because that's a standard Bluecoat response.
And I think Maya, as much as she would love to do that, like, as much as she would love to just...
I know, that's a terrible thing. This is why Drop is different than other Bluecoats. Nogs just hasn't quite learned that yet.
Oh, God. I think, like, gosh, I hate when, like, oh, God, I was like, when in doubt, go with the trauma that you have. And so I think, like, Maya looks at Nogs and, like, we see her sort of, like, stiffen her jaw a bit and go, like, you know what? He kind of has a little bit of a point. We're Bluecoat. Like, we're, like, and then I think, like, fixes the doctor with a look and says, given the nature of this, given the nature in which this conversation has turned, I think it would be best if you came down to the station to answer some questions, Dr. Warren Terraconnell.
Okay, let's go.
Nogs picks up his badge as if he did anything.
May I go? May I go get my jacket?
Nogs, will you fetch the doctor's jacket, please?
I totally do.
So, Nogs, you go to get his jacket, and when you grab it, you notice near the coat rack where his jacket is an Imperial pneumatic tube.
Is Nogs... Wait, I have a dot and observe. I might not be that dumb. I have 2 dots and observe. I think Nogs picks up the coat, swallows real hard, puts 2 and 2 together, and then comes back with the jacket looking real scared, trying to communicate with just his eyes at Maya, even though he doesn't have drop skills. He's just like he's like clutching that coat, white knuckles, like, and then he holds it out for the man.
Thank you.
Maya's looking at Nogs like what?
Nice is a lot more polite to this man now.
Very well. I think, like, Maya will escort. Oh, you know what? Can Maya do an observe roll to try and clock over Nogs' shoulder to, or is that too far away?
No,
like...
but we could stealthily communicate on the way to the tower between clip-clops of hooves and things like that.
Rad. Yeah, we'll do that. Yes. So, like, Maya will, like, nod and
Yeah, and I
with
think
a yeah.
that's the detail you missed when you walked in because you were too hot.
Oh,
Like you realized there was a pneumatic tube going right over the ceiling,
oh,
and
cool.
like you just like was like I just thought it was a plumbing, like, but there would never be a plumbing. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah,
Super great. Yeah.
but then like yeah, you have a moment where you let Mr. Tyrconnell like walk a little ahead, and Nogs can talk to you.
Yeah, Nuggs basically just
Excellent.
says like, do you know how we have all the tubes in the building? Well, he
Uh,
has a gold-colored one. Because, like, clearly, like, all the tubes are labeled, like, A, B, or, like, 104.C, or, like, whatever. But there's, like, the ones that go to Imperial have, like, a goddamn seal and a color, right? Like, it's always the red-banded one or the gold-banded ones or whatever. Like, and that's what he indicates. It's like, this one is different.
Right.
So, yeah, like, that's what Noggs tells you.
I think my again sort of like eyes go quite bright, which is like, dang, like this kid has a bright future if he stays alive.
It's never gonna happen.
And yes, we'll as continue escorting the doctor towards wherever we're taking him.
Cool. You take him up to the Justice Tower and like put him
Yeah.
put him in a room.
Yeah.
Cool. He sits.
What do you think, Maya? Could an Imperial assassin plan to assassinate the Emperor? Or is he actually working for us? We don't even realize it.
That's the question, right?
And how much of it is safe to ask him?
Another good question. Hush. I think Maya was just driver here. Someone were here to look into it while they were like sort of doing the parallel questioning whilst also ransacking the place.
I mean, Maya could just cash in the chits. We could go back to the two of us doing it as a team. And Nox could just be like, oh, thank God. Wait, I'm assigned to a different investigator. Oh, God.
That might be an idea. Like, yeah, that might be an idea. Reconvening.
Cool.
Oh yeah, because we can do the badass like questioning the cult and questioning like the doctor kind of thing at the same time.
Side by side, but not letting them know that they're in rooms like 5 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be dope.
That sounds cool. Yes, there we go. That feels right.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good. Shall we?
Do we jump to that, or do we do that next time?
Do you want to jump to that right now? Yeah, let's do it. Fast forward. Yeah, Drav brings in the 4 cult members. Do you put each cult member in a different room? Or are they all together?
The correct police procedure is to put them in different rooms, but
Right.
we bend the rules and do stuff all the time for the convenience of cinematography and coolness of scene. Nah, I definitely think that we put them in different rooms, because then we can tell them people said different things. And
That's true.
A fun moment, right?
Also, I'm dying to know. We have to have that scene of like Drav catches Maya with a new haircut.
I think before we do that, though, I think I need one scene in particular, which is the difference between Drav the Bluecoat and Drav the gang leader, right? Because I think there is a moment before Suresh leaves that Drav gets in her goddamn way.
Ooh.
And he says, "What the fuck happened out there tonight?"
That kid owed me, so I evened the ledger.
And what gave you an idea that you can attack a member of my team? Tonight, you work for me, and tonight, you fucked up. This is why your gang serves others. I know what you're thinking. Come on, say it.
Drav, you shouldn't show your face around the Mustang for a while. I might lose my composure.
I think Drav, like, very carefully takes the mask off, looks right at Suresh, and says, "Go ahead, lose it right the fuck now. Let's get this over with. I don't deal with ledgers the way that you do."
My gang serves others. My gang got caught in a bad situation, but my gang still exists. I didn't go running to Uncle Bluecoat to save me from the streets.
Your gang went up against other people on the street. I went up against the royal families and the Undying Emperor as a kid. I'm not a kid anymore, Suresh.
You got into a bad situation, a situation any one of us could have gotten into.
And I think
Drav
drives 2 fingers into her chest and says, "You were not in a fucking bad situation tonight. I did all the goddamn math. The only mistake on the ledger is you."
Uh-huh. You couldn't have told me that the kid who shot me was behind a mouse mask? You had to let me find out by watching him walk out of the ghost field the same way he walked out when he nearly killed me?
I use the pieces that I have. That problem was resolved. I thought. Clearly you didn't. And you decided to not just handle it, but handle it tonight. That's not how things are done.
That kid was going to be on a train back to Imperial City before the Dimmer sisters moved an inch up in the sky. And then he was going to be out of my reach. So yeah, I took the shot while he was within my reach, and we would have been fine. I'm surprised. It's amazing to me that you're not yelling at the kid for hitting the alarm.
I tend to do stupid things when somebody shoots me. I also tend to do very, very dangerous things when people attack members of my team.
Well, your team all went its separate ways, much richer. Take it as a win and move the fuck on.
I think that's actually probably fair. I think Drav lets it go. I think his hands twitch, and then just he remembers that he's not on the street and he doesn't need to fucking front. And he just nods.
For the record, I liked Sergeant Dravaron way more than I liked whoever this asshole in the mask was. I never heard Sergeant Dravaron call people pieces. He seemed to see people.
Sergeant Dravaron is also fucking poor and doesn't know how to assemble a goddamn job that leaves you as rich as you are now. Everything has a fucking cost, Suresh.
Yeah, I won round 1. You won round 2. We'll leave the rubber match for another time.
Don't give me shit at dinner.
Have a good night, Sergeant.
All right. Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. All right. Cool. So are we interrogating people now? Is that the plan? Is Judd making some clocks?
No. Ask some questions, and then I'll figure out if there are any clocks that need to be made.
Ooh.
So yeah, Drav. How does Drav? So we talked about the transition from Sergeant Drav to Drav the Spider. How does he come back? Like, what does it look like?
Oh, he just puts the mask on. It's that fast, right? Like
You mean he takes the mask off?
Yeah, he did when he was talking to Suresh, right? Like, and I think that it's like particularly like if we're gonna talk about this in sort of a meta narrative, like Drav has had to like figure out how to dance back over the edge, and now the veil is a lot thinner, right? Like Suresh is just like, I don't know, Drav, you gonna fucking draw on me? And Drav is like, wait, no, I don't need to do that. That's stupid. Why would I do that? like it took him a hot second to remember, like, no, you don't have to shiv everyone. You're not on the street anymore. Come on, man, just get over it. But like pulling himself back into that role is a lot quicker, right? Like he just puts the mask on and his like gait changes, right? Like he gets that like weird hunched over, leaning in, like hungry look on him, right? Like he steps right into it a lot quicker now, right? So yeah, I think yeah, if we've got the cultists there, I think he says it should be pretty fucking clear to you that the reason that you're out here is because we want something from you. And he just taps the gold bars and he says, you could walk out of here rich, and I will never bother you again. Or you could walk out of here a lot less rich and a lot more troubled. I would like to hear what your choice is now before I start asking questions.
We'd like to walk out of here rich and less troubled. We don't want to end up in any of those cells again.
Good. Question 1. What is your relationship with the man that you deliver bodies to be killed? Specifically, and he quotes the murder in the canal.
So you think we murdered one of our own and then delivered it to someone? I don't understand. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'm going to make this clear. I have information. If you lie to me, you're not only going to walk out, you're going to be very unhappy. I know for a fact that a member of your cult, because we did see somebody with squid tattoos handing the body over to the scratched out man. Is that correct?
Yes, you did.
It was like, we know for a fact that I name the man has handed and I name the dead man to the murderer. I know that he did it here, and I know that he did it at this time. So I need you to explain to me how that relationship works.
So the guy's name who you saw with the body's name was Skinner, right?
Yep, I believe it was Stavrul Kincaid. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
Skinner was the canal body, like the first one that we found. Yeah.
The body's name was Stavrul, or the guy who was handing the body over was Stavrul?
I don't remember which one.
I'm pretty sure.
I believe the one handing over the body was. Go ahead.
Yeah. Stavrul Kincaid was the sweater wearing tattoo person. Yeah.
Cool.
I know that Stavrul Kincaid is a member of your gang. I know that Stavrul Kincaid is currently on a boat trip that's going to last another 2 months. I know that Stavrul Kincaid handed Skinner over to the man that murdered him in the canal. I need to know why, I need to know how, and I need to know how you communicate with this man.
Whoa. Stavrul joined our gang, or joined our cult about a year ago. He was a sailor. He was clever. Skinner's parents were in this cult. One of his grandparents helped found this cult. But Skinner had a brain in his head. He would be leading this cult, but he didn't. So he wasn't. But he was a loyal member. We don't tend to make bodies. And if we do, we put them out to sea. We don't hand them to any person. When Stavrul and Skinner disappeared, we didn't know Skinner was dead until you just told us.
I think there's like a moment where like Drav gets in real close and like tilts that mask until it is like creepy. And then he says, "Do you want to tell me why Skinner had plans to murder the Undying Emperor on him?" I hope you are shitting bricks right now if you do not understand what kind of a position you're in.
I think the oldest woman of the group, who's kind of the leader, says, "Listen, I wasn't crazy about Stavrul. I couldn't find any reason not to be. But when he disappeared and then the Spirit Wardens jumped on us, I assumed Stavrul was an agent. He was someone going undercover. That's what I think."
Undercover as what? A sailor in a third-rate cult? Whose only claim to fame is the fact that they can hide so deep nobody can find them? Make me believe.
If I was going to pin a murder plot on the Emperor on someone who investigators and Bluecoats were going to waste a lot of time chasing, I'd pick us. We're not on the books. No one knows about us. We're barely on any scoundrel's radar. We play it really low and tight. Once, 70, 80 years ago, we were wheeling and dealing. People knew our name. There was talk of us uniting all the cults. But those days are gone. Our cult is half a dozen people tops. We are small time, and we know it because we've been really close to the big time. But when we scatter, we are hard to find. The Spirit Wardens have jumped on us a bunch of times and have missed us. And for whatever reason, they jumped on us this time and they got us, and I don't know why. They came at us with more people, more resources than I've ever seen them throw at anything.
Maya, I believe him. I believe him 100 goddamn %. What do you think?
Yeah, I hate it, but same.
Because it feels like we have an Imperial agent and an Imperial assassin, but I don't know who the fuck is dueling that's going after the Emperor. Yeah, I think we cut from wherever I'm questioning them to whatever Maya is doing, because, like,
yeah,
holy shit, I think this is true.
Yeah, totally.
We've been chasing smoke and ghosts and moving the world over the red herring.
So Maya, you're in the observation room looking at Dr. Voren and thinking about like how you're going to ask him questions and how you're going to take this. And Telsius walks in the room.
Oh, fuck.
Because I kind of feel like you've been avoiding me, but what's going on?
I think Maya doesn't take her eyes off of the doctor, and says, "Oh, I apologize if I made you feel unwelcome, Telsius. That was not my intention in the slightest."
Are you lying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Do you care if he knows?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
He nods politely at your blatant lie. And he sits down and looks and says, "What have we got?"
I think that's when Maya finally breaks away from staring at the doctor unblinkingly, and says, "Well, I picked this one up. He has been very hard to find, but I believe he has something to do with the string of murders that Dravaran was looking into. I'm sure you've read Dravaran's paperwork on the matter."
Yes.
And that's when Maya like flicks a look at from Telsius back to the doctor and says, "Also, you haven't commented on my haircut."
He like shakes his head and looks at you. Says, oh, it looks really nice.
Thank you. It was done by one Dr. Voran Terraconnell.
So I don't understand the way you two work, and I know that I don't want to be a drip, and I don't want to be a drag on your process. What can I do to help?
I think like Maya looks back at him again and says, "Well, I can trust you, right, Mr. Telsius?"
He shrugs, says, "I don't see why not. I was sent here to support your investigation."
Well, indeed, but it is hard to know who to trust when there is a leak running around in these buildings.
Mm-hmm.
A leak that conveniently appears to assist us and is not mentioned on our mandate. Continue.
Oh, God. I really don't trust Telsius. This conversation is so hard.
Do you want to make a roll?
Please do not take Drav's horrifying paranoia of the Quicksilver Guard to necessarily be fact. It could also be fun, the same way that Nox is like, I report to the Lord Governor to make a choice, like decide to trust the man or not. Yeah.
Oh, that's very true. Oh, you know what? Actually, this might be useful if this might be, yeah, I think like, yeah, I think Maya will give him this, and if something happens as a result, then we know exactly who's involved in this. I think Maya says like, strange that a Legion barber had a pneumatic pipe, the same color as the ones in the Imperial City. Right in his office. So yes, that is how you can help me, Telsius.
Well, that must mean he's an Imperial agent of some kind.
That's your only conclusion?
I don't know what other conclusion there is to draw. That's not a conclusion. That's not like me synthesizing anything. That's me telling you. It's like you saying there's goat shit all over my office, and me saying there must have been a goat here. Me saying there must have been a goat here is not me being some kind of genius.
Who did the Imperial agents in this city report to?
I think, yeah, Maya will ask him. Yeah, channel that question through Maya.
Probably the Lord Governor.
God dang it. I think she looks at Telsius and she says, like, see, that's where I think I run into problems putting two and two together, but then I am not from these parts and this is not my city, so perhaps you can help me deduce this goat shit in my office.
Right.
The man in that room has ties to cults, has killed several people, has tried to erase himself from history. He's connected to the Imperial City. Oh, what was I missed that? Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen.
It said Drav was right.
Oh. I don't know what to say, Tulsius. There's a lot of shit in this office, and some of it's goat and some of it isn't. Some of it's rat droppings.
If you need my help, let me know.
Thank you. I'm sure I will hold you. I'm sure I will take you up on that offer.
You're going in to talk to the doctor?
I believe so.
Do you want Drav with you or no?
Yeah. I think Drav should be there for this because I think.
Cool. How about Drav enters at a dramatic time?
Oh yeah,
Sounds
totally.
Great. Do you give Drav any pointers, notes, or other things, or should I just deduce it by walking in?
I think Maya gives you the Drav was right look.
Yeah, but like, do I get the sense that you're being gentle and like careful with this man as if he's going to walk back out on the street, or are you like going all in? This is where the chips hit the table.
Well, yeah, Maya is very torn because, yeah, like this is pointing all signs to Drav is right, and it's like, is this how? Yeah, like we can't really have a frank conversation about like, look, motherfucker, you're working with the Lord Governor. Like, if any of this is going to be observed or on record or anything.
Okay.
So like I could see two approaches of like be gentle and like if we let him go, fine, you know, and
like,
maybe we can
run him like a line, or do we just be like, all right, so where does your loyalty belong? Are you with the Emperor or with the Governor? Whatever you say, we won't believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is this? Yeah, so it's just like be gentle with him, and then be like, okay, you're like, feel free to go along. Like, oh, you fooled us, kind of thing, and then get him I don't know.
I mean, this man is smart and he's canny. He clearly sent Noggs to pick up his coat, and he probably noticed that Noggs was acting squirrely. So. I don't think that we can play the we are ignorant card, but I think that we could certainly play the okay, fine, your authority maybe outstrips us. We're both working for the same team. What can you give us? Oh, surely we believe you that you are not plotting the assassination of the Emperor. Ha 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 ha, stab.
That's very true. Yeah. That sounds like a good tack. Yeah.
But if we let him go, this is okay. Whew, let's do this. Yeah, all right.
Cool.
I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I love it.
Drav will walk in when it's interesting for Drav to walk in. Let's do it. He'll come in when it's dramatic.
Yeah, so I think like Maya nods to Tulsius and enters the room and then like takes a seat opposite the doctor.
Is Nox
probably
there?
like
I'm just curious.
Oh, good question.
It's totally up to Maya.
If he wants to be.
No, it's Maya's call. Because Nox has no idea what he's doing, so he's just like, Mom, should I be there, Mom? Am I supposed to look threatening? Do I get him coffee? What's the plan, Mom?
I think Maya looks at him and says like, a mushroom tea would be much appreciated.
I'm on it, Mom. Like, it's an important mission.
Aww. And Maya like is like, bless him, I hope he will survive the week. Takes a seat opposite the doctor. There's like that really long, like sort of silence as they stare at each other, I'm sure. And then Maya probably begins with like, so Big fan of the Emperor, are you?
That's a little above my station. I would like to think that I've served the Emperor in my way.
I'm sure you have on a number of levels. Gosh, you've had quite the upper crust life, haven't you? I looked in numerous files about you and couldn't see anything pertaining to gang activity, no hard times in the streets, no significant hardships you've faced. It's all seemed quite lovely.
I don't know about lovely. War is not lovely, and the things I've seen are not all lovely, but I've been very privileged, that's for sure.
Of course, I did not mean to imply that there's a lovely, I find, is a relative term after the time I've spent in Duskfall.
I was lucky that I went into the Imperial Army and found purpose there, and then continued to find purpose outside of gang work.
What is your purpose? What drives you? Why do you wake up in the morning?
I'd like to not hurt anyone. I would like to leave the world a little bit less harmed than when I found it.
I see. And yet, for someone who doesn't like to cause a lot of harm, I would err to say that that is exactly what you've done in recent times and in the past.
In order to talk more about that, I would really need to see your mandate.
I think Max shows up with like mushroom tea and asks people if they want 1 lump or 2 of sugar. In the tense silence, there's just the clinking of china.
Oh, it's so good. I think Maya takes a cup, adds like a sugar and stirs it, and you can hear like that annoying sound of like metal on china.
Does the doctor get one?
Did Maya say to? Because Nugs would have prepared extra cups just in case.
Yeah, I think Maya...
Yeah.
Maya not... Yeah.
None for me, thanks. Thank you.
And Maya takes a sip, and I think she looks at the doctor and says, "As cases go, I find this one quite boring. And I think wouldn't you like to play a little game? Would you like to guess what the mandate is? I'm sure you can. You're a very clever gentleman."
No, I really can't.
I think that's probably where the door opens and Drav walks in, and he says, "Sorry, I'm late." And goes, "You're in my seat, Silkshore. Get the hell out." And Nugs is gone. And then Drav sits down, says, "Inspector, oh, nice haircut." And then back
and then she says, "Thank you," into the most delightful barber.
Is this him?
This is him.
Cool. I think Drav reaches into his satchel and he pulls out the plans to murder the Emperor and puts them right on the table. Looks right at the guy and goes, "Is this your handwriting or Stuff Rules?"
It is not mine.
So do you want to inform me why the two of you decided to pin this on what the hell was the guy's name? The dead guy.
Oh, Skinner with the dead guy.
Skinner. I'm sorry, do you still need to see the mandate?
Agent Stavrul told me that we needed to put the satchel onto the body. And again, I would tell you more. I would tell you everything if I could only see the mandate.
Maya, please feel free to stop me at this point, but Drav pulls out the mandate and puts it on the table.
I think that's fine. That sounds pretty reckless.
He reaches into his jacket and takes out his reading glasses. And then takes
Amazing.
the thing and looks at it. Takes the glasses off, puts them back into his jacket, and says, Special Agent Stavrul had been undercover with a cult for a little more than a year. According to the codes that were given to me, I was to do anything he asked me to do. He had a body. He had a cultist who he needed killed quietly, where the bells would not take it. I did this. He needed the spirit of the body cut so that no one could find it, and the spirit cleansed with electroplasmic oil. I did this too. He wanted the body found with that satchel. I did not know it was in the satchel. I did not ask. I put the body in the canal where it would drift into Silkshore and be found.
Who gave you the orders? Whose codes were on your mandate?
I don't get people. I get codes from the pneumatic tube that goes into my office.
And that pneumatic tube connects to where?
I don't know. The Lord Governor, not this Lord Governor, but the previous, when I first got back, told me that I was an Imperial agent who would be murdering divisive forces within the Empire that came to Duskwall. Earlier, Private Noggs puffed his chest at me. I considered killing him.
Who, Silkshore? Oh, he's got a bit of spunk.
I was glad that Inspector Tui stepped in because it would have been inconvenient. But I also know that isn't normal. When you kill someone, it should have an effect on you. Something has been missing in me. I used it to be a good medic and a good soldier. And when I came back, I used it to be a good Imperial agent. I am lucky that I did not fall in with gangs, as I said to Inspector Tui earlier, because I think they would have used that blankness in me and they would have turned it to something else. It's why I like being a barber. I get to hear about people and their day. I get to hear about their empathy. It makes it easier for me to seem normal. That's all I've ever wanted.
This missing component. Did someone do that to you?
I don't think so. I think I was always this way.
You think you were always scratched out of the ghost field?
Oh, that. An Imperial Whisper taught me how to do that.
Uh-huh. That's good. Do you have a name?
Cavell Grine.
Do you have questions, Maya?
I think we linger on like Maya's now brown eyes, and I think like she kind of gets where he's coming from in terms of like when you're sort of missing something or need people or like need community, and then you get used like for a thing.
Yeah.
And I think she like sort of mulls on that for a moment and then like shakes her head and says, not immediately, although I would like to know when you next have a break in your schedule for a haircut in 3 months.
I will write you right in.
So, what's Maya's take on this? Do we let him go? Do we shove him in Iron Hook in the same hole as Trick?
That's a really interesting question. I feel like we're getting closer and closer at that choke point of like who's behind this. Oh. I'm curious to like what would happen if we did try, just to see if like some hand from above would step in and try and do something, you know.
Yeah, I can make that happen.
But I just to see if like there'd be just to see who would put the paperwork down on us to be like, oh no, like you need to let him go, like we can't keep him or something. Because I feel like.
Did we ever see if Trick had a scratched out aura? Because I don't think we did. We talked to him, but I don't think we scanned him.
No, I let him into my brain and showed him the sun.
Yeah, you did do that.
I think you knew that he did not have a scratched out aura.
I'd be curious to know if Trick used to be an Imperial assassin too. Because no name, multiple names, serial killer, nearly untraceable, thrown into prison. We ask him. I think I just straight up ask the good doctor here. I say, so if we were to shove you in the deepest, darkest hole where the sun doesn't shine, what do you expect will happen? You think you'll be out tomorrow?
I don't know.
I think we'll find out. We'll let you out when the case is over. One
Please
way or
don't.
another.
Please don't.
Please don't.
I don't want to go in there. I don't want to be considered one of those people. I don't want that.
I think Drav blinks and he says, you are one of those people.
No, I'm not.
You've killed people. You've ripped their goddamn souls out. Yeah, you are.
I did it.
Under orders?
Yes.
And that makes it better?
Yes.
No. That's the part you're missing. I think Drav walks out. It's your lesson in empathy today, motherfucker.
Nice.
I'm assuming Drav slams the door, or does he leave like composed?
Quietly seething. It's close enough to composed.
I think like Maya looks over her shoulder at the door and then back at Cavell and says, I know I can't apologize for Drav, but I know he's experiencing some level of frustration because we've been chasing ghosts this whole time. And I know a lot about chasing ghosts personally. And you're the closest we've gotten to finding something corporeal after a long time. It's just the corporeality, despite now having a somewhat physical presence, is rather untouchable. And I'm not advocating for putting you in the deepest, darkest hole in the middle of nowhere. But it would be helpful if we could understand more about who these ghosts are.
I did the things I did because I knew something was broken in me, and I didn't want to do them with any compulsion. I didn't want to hurt innocent people. The things I did were terrible, but there's terrible work that has to be done in order to keep the empire running. And to think otherwise is naive.
I think I understand that on a very tangential level. I've likewise had something, I guess, broken about me that a good friend of mine stepped in to fix is not the right word, but alleviate. And I think I would be in much the same position as yourself if that good friend had stepped in.
What was broken?
My head.
How so?
How much do you know about Severosi?
I served with some of them.
Did any of them have any particular hang-ups about their ancestry or
Of
the
course.
ghost of their past?
Of course.
I had a ghost of my past living over me.
You had a ghost in your head.
I
Severosi
did.
witch style. And you got rid of it.
I did.
That's interesting. How long after the ghost was exited did you take up with Kotar?
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
I think we sort of like Maya gives him a very fixed look and says, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It seems you've gone from one to another, don't you think? I knew I was going to go from one to another. I knew I was going to go from the killing of war to more killing when I got home. It's why I'm grateful I didn't end up in a scoundrel's den. I would have taken it up. Someone would have used it. I did feel sanctioned because of the status of the people who gave me the go. I had to do what I had to do. Sometimes nothing came for years, and I wouldn't do anything. And then sometimes 3 in a week. Anyway, I went from one to another too. I know what it is. But it's important to see your own patterns.
Deepest, darkest hole.
And I think when we get that shot of like Maya linking her fingers in the desk, right? Like, and leaning in that little bit closer. And she says, well, if you claim to know me so well.
I'm asking. I'm asking. I don't claim to know anything. I don't know what your experience was.
No, trust me, I've been in a courtroom. I know all about allegations and claims about my character.
It seems like a pattern. You felt overpowered by one entity that was in your head, and now there is another entity sharing your body. If you think that hand is not a beacon to anyone with any manner of attunement, you're kidding yourself. You walked into the barber shop, it was like some kind of witch goddess walked in.
That would align with what people have been saying about me around town.
I bet.
Well, in that case, let me put you in my shoes. From what I hear from you, I don't have much time before someone realizes what's going on with me. I, too, would like to see this place somewhat void of the rats that exist within its walls. What would you do?
I don't know. You have a decision to make. Upon reading your mandate, it is that someone is going to attempt to kill the Emperor. You are trying to find out who. You've uncovered, from what I can tell, was a dead end. Because it's not me. I believe the world is better with the Emperor in it. I think you need to make that decision.
Hey, like Maya nods. Like sort of like pulls her hands back and sits them in her lap. And says, when I do, I'm sure, as I said, we'll book you in for another delightful haircut.
I would like that. I would like to be out and free and able to give haircuts.
And you do give a very good haircut.
Are you going to put me in Iron Hook?
I'll cut back to Strash. What would you like to do? I know you'd like to put him in there.
Hell yeah. Well, drop wood. I mean, it depends on what kind of a case Maya makes. According to Drop is like, look, I don't fucking know how you kill emperors. It's so above my pay grade. I mean, we're gonna run this up the line. We're gonna figure out, is it the governor? Is it the military? Did he get these notions in the military? Is he telling the truth? I don't know. We'll figure all that out. But while that's the case, I would like to not have a soul-severing assassin roaming free that could potentially do things that terrify the Demmer sisters, and they're not scared by anything. So, like, how do you kill an emperor? Soul-severing assassin seems high up on the list. If he gets numbers and the emperor's name next to it, I don't know how the hell his personal beliefs account to anything. It's just safer. It's probably not the right answer. I think that we could let him out just fine. Drav is fucking livid.
Yeah.
It has less to do with this guy and more to do with the fact that he feels responsible for some shit that happened in the last couple of days, but he sure as hell not gonna say that in public in front of an assassin that reports to the governor. That's just bonkers. So no.
I think like Maya moves to stand up and like takes his cup of mushroom tea in hers and says like, I can't make any promises, but I'll do what I can to make sure that you're offered some semblance of comfort while we investigate. There's This would purely be an administrative matter, I can assure you.
Okay.
And I appreciate your cooperation and your candor and your honesty.
Cool. And I think the next scene is like you and Telsius and Drav in the office looking at the board. In sullen silence.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in between that, Drav is like, "No, Nugs, we do not report our investigators for doing weird witchy shit. What is wrong with you? Now give me a coffee."
Red. Is that when we fade? Is this the set where the episode fades out, like with that very like sullen silence, or is there more?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'll second that. I think this is where we call it for now. I think we get
it's late.
A final drive next time, maybe. Let's see where it ends up.
I can picture that like shot too of like them just in silence looking at the board and like the very dim light of like late evening, and it's like they're really unsettling. Like, there's no conclusion, but a lot happened, and like simmering anger.
And I think it's in stark contrast to how that usually is in that room. Usually, it's like Maya sitting, but kind of like stimulated. And Drav like walking back and forth and flipping cards in his hands. And this time it's just this like almost funereal stillness.
Yeah,
And it just, And we'll end it there.
Sounds good.
Lovely.
Cool.
Whew, what an episode.
Oh my god. Dang.
All right. Do we do XP or do we do XP next time?
Let's do it.
All right. Do we go first? I don't know who I give XP to. Do we just pick a character we played and give them XP? What's the protocol for a situation like this?
Let's do all of them. All of them.
Jeez. All right. Yikes.
Let's do the mandate first, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's usually fine. That works.
Enforce the law or advance the progress of the mandate?
I think we definitely made progress.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no question about that. Enforce the law.
We'll give you one. Contend with challenges above your current station?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be a two. That's going to be a twofer. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one?
What's our reputation?
Reckless, team player, honorable.
We are so not. Yeah, actually, we were all of those.
Cool.
I stand by that because,
I'll
like,
give you a twofer. I'll give you a twofer.
Drop was definitely like, let me tell you about how my gang works. Kraken.
I'll give you a twofer for that, and
we
then
don't shiv each other. We'd be team players and honorable.
Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
That's a good question.
I
think this might be the first game where I don't know if that's true. Largely because we did not sit around and talk to each other a whole lot. We mostly talked to other people. And who are other people?
Yeah.
How's that even work?
Any bit of conflict I felt was at the very end there where Drop was like, screw this, and just like left and was like, I'll see you like in the darkest hole, and Maya was like, I'm sorry about that.
I'll give you one on that. I'll give you 1 point on that. Cool. Right. Who's next?
I have a feeling that whether we see it this episode or it's an after the credit scene or whatever, I think Drav is probably burning that mask and coat that he was wearing during the heist, right? Because, like, I think he sees what happens when he shifts into that life, right? Like, it's not good for him.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see where he could have ended up, but, like, I think he has enough self-awareness to understand that there's a reason he left that life behind.
Yeah.
Um, anyway.
Yeah. It's good. I like the idea of him finding out that it's just not a healthy lifestyle, right?
Nope.
It's not a good way to, yeah. Cool.
All right.
Who's next?
I want to do
Nogs?
Nogs. I just want to do
yeah.
Nogs because it's
Oh,
the
it-
most hilarious thing ever. All right, hang on. Judd, were you marking XP on the mandate?
I did.
All right, Red. Let me get Nogs up, and I'm actually gonna get Drama up just so I can copy his key line, whatever it's called. Sounds like key line. You honorably did your duty in service to the Imperium, or you did what's right. I feel like Nogs tried really hard. Did I actually do it? I don't know. Can you folks help me out here?
He definitely did like 1 point worth of trying, without a doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nogs. All right. Here you go, Nogs. You can have an XP. Next up. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I feel like Nogs actually did do that, right? Like, he absolutely...
Oh, yeah.
was 100% believes and drives all the way. And I think his like whole religion and things like that probably came up with a little bit with his background and whatnot.
Cool.
Just an accurate kid trying to do the best he can.
Make a lot of like his like naivete and like around like, yeah, I'm a Bluecoat and like, how dare you, like, we're gonna beat him up now, right? Like that felt very true to like.
And I definitely had no issues from vices or traumas, so I think it's good. I did pick up a wound of it burns. All right. Who's next?
Rosalind?
Oh yeah, I can do Rosalind. Boop 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 boop. I marked my disparate actions, addressed a challenge with knowledge or arcane power. Oh, the time.
Yeah. That's a twofer. Sorry, I actually marked it.
Oh, no worries.
Expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or
background. Yeah, like a bit of that with like her trying to get the ghosts in the bottles and that
Cool.
and sort of follow through with the Demo sisters and
Yeah, totally.
do them good. And start with no vices or trauma. Cold haunted. Not sleeper. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Awesome.
Driver on.
I should be getting Spider XP this time around. Let's take a look here. You honorably did your duty in service to the Imperium, or you did what's right. I definitely want to argue that Drav tried doing what's right. And he did get clues. Like, he did do his duty to the Imperium. Maybe not the Spirit Wardens and the Duskfall, per se. But he did everything he could to get the clues that he needed after those assholes saw all my people that I was supposed to interrogate. We worked really hard on that.
I agree.
That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is the Spirit Wardens broke into Drav's house, so Drav broke into the Spirit Warden's house.
That's another. You read me like a book.
That's another way to look at it.
Where's that Spider XP? Somewhere, somehow, there's a calling card of Drav's old apartment keys.
Nice.
No XP. It's fine.
Yeah, I think no XP.
You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, your background 100.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during this session. I feel like Drop was just a teensy bit reckless. And also, I would like to point out that his obsession caused him to make a bunch of masks, put two people that had tried assassinating each other together, and try and create a job that attacked the Spirit Wardens. Because clearly that is the only sensible thing to do when you're investigating a case.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Heck yes.
All right, that's it for me.
It was the only logical step.
Yeah, it really was. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Is
that it?
Yep,
for
that's
Drav?
it. I'm done.
Maya?
Okay. Yes, this is my honorably did your duty in service of the Imperium, or you did what's right. I think like she followed the lead to figure out like who Scratchy Face was, which was in pursuit of like the mandate. I don't know if she did anything else like in terms of what's right, or I mean I guess like I don't know, can you count taking in the doctor as part of like doing your duty in service of the Imperium?
Yeah.
I don't know. Excellent. I'll take it. Express beliefs drives heritage background. I think we got a fair
Cool.
lot of that with like the hot
Yeah.
to hot and
Yes. There was so much.
And then struggles with issues from visceral trauma. I kind of feel like hanging around to like get that heart to heart felt so reckless because so much of Maya's like self came out with someone who is super shady and murdery, and like she should have left when dropped it, but she has stuck around to like figure out more about him and that kind of thing and connect with someone who's like kind of similarly traumatized. Oh yeah, haunted for sure. That came through in that scene, but I don't know how many XP. That might be about 1 XP for that scene.
It was a good scene though.
That was a good scene. Cool. I'll put that 5 XP somewhere.
All right. Is that it for
Awesome.
the XPs?
That is it. And next game, I think, will start not only, well, the game will start with Imperial skyships dotting the horizon and Imperial battleships coming into harbor and the Undying Emperor touching foot in Duskwall for the first time since the lightning fence went up.
It's been like, what, 400 or 500 years?
Yep.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Very cool.
Cool. Well, that's it for Game Tonight, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been kind of a wild one. I've been at Strashay, or actually, I've been Strash. You can find me at Strashay on the Twitters. I use he, him pronouns. I'm one of the regular streamers here. There's a good chance you may actually see me in a couple more streams coming up. We've been discussing a couple of new things that are on the docket that are actually probably going to be in play here in the next month or so. So keep your eyes on the Twitters and your ears peeled to the channel, I guess. I don't know how this works. Don't make me make decisions right now. And I design games. You should check out some of my games. They're cool. They're all in drive-thru or on evilhat.com. All right, that's it. Take it away, Lauren.
As I've been Lauren, I use she, they. I am at the Stray Kiwi on Twitter and and thestraykiwi.com if you want to check out my design work and editing work, since I edit TTRPGs for a living. You're welcome to come say hi to me at CapCon, which will be in 2 weeks, I think. Shout out to the lovely folks I met the other week or so, who I played some lovely tabletop games with. I hope to see you there. And yeah, dang, that was a game. And I'll pass it on to Judd.
Hi, I'm Judd. He, him. Every week or two, I put out a podcast called Daydreaming About Dragons, and I'll put out one. The first of the 2020 will come out this Sunday, which is today. And and this week, I think we'll be talking about Krull, the movie Krull. So
wow, that's a classic. Blast from the past.
Come on, yeah, it's a maybe a bad movie, but good for gaming. We'll see. Come figure it out. Talk to me. We'll see what it is. And thank you for joining us. It was really lovely to have a really packed chat tonight.
Yes.
All right, that's it for tonight. I believe the next episode of Bluecoats will be in 2 weeks. This case is kind of getting to its final conclusion state, so
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes from there.
Oh my god. Thanks for watching.